Welcome to the Stay Spicy podcast, where we have honest, fun, and spicy conversations about being your authentic self.
All right. Well, welcome back to the Stay Spicy podcast. We're in season 3, and it's our spiciest one yet. This season, we are talking about entrepreneurship, and we are talking about amazing women entrepreneurs who are making spaces, breaking rules, and making bank doing it. Our guest for this episode is doing just that. Lynette, take it away.
Yeah, today we've got Sapreet Buttar, who is the CEO and founder of the Universal Radio Network. She's been broadcasting since the age of 12. Yes, you heard that right. And she's also recently, in 2023, won a Top 40 Under 40 award. So she is also still under 40 and has accomplished all of these amazing things. We're really, really excited to have her here. She's not only an entrepreneur, she's also a lawyer, a trailblazer, a community builder, and an all-around badass. Sapreet, welcome to the Stay Spicy podcast.
Thank you. Season 3 already.
I know.
Wow. I feel like I've been following your journey from day one, and congratulations on so many successful seasons.
Thank you so much. And we're happy to actually get you in the studio.
Yes.
Like, I know you've been supporting us and, you know, emceeing our event and stuff like that, but it's great that we got her.
I'm excited. I am super excited. Listening to all you guys' episodes, I'm like, this is going to be a fun one. Very different from radio.
Yeah.
No filter
you can
required.
swear.
Exactly.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like anytime we interview anyone at the radio, the first thing is like, yeah, you can't swear on radio. And I'm like, I love how encouraged it is right now. I'm so excited to get everything out there.
Good. Well, let's kick
Let it
off.
all out today.
Let it all out. Exactly.
Everything you've been holding back on the radio.
So I think this season's perfect for you. It's all about entrepreneurship, as we mentioned. Let's talk a bit about your entrepreneurship journey, your business journey. How did it all start?
Okay, so yeah, entrepreneurship for me is broadcasting, radio, media. So as Lynette mentioned, at the age of 12, I started co-hosting with my dad, who's a South Asian journalist, one of the first in Alberta. So at that time, it was a very niche market, small community, and he would get me to co-host where we would talk about basically different perspectives of being South Asian, me being born and raised in Canada, him immigrating over. So we would talk about topics that it would get heated at times, but it'd be a lot of fun as well. Even the simplest thing of dating or arranged marriages versus not arranged marriages, right? So
Those
it's
are
a lot
some
of
spicy
fun.
topics.
I know, right? I'm like, we should pull out those recordings. So at that time, I got exposed to this, the media world and just sort of seeing how it is. And at that time, there wasn't much presence at all for South Asian media. So over the years, just seeing the opportunities, seeing how things could evolve. And then in 2015, the CRTC put out basically a call of applications for any ethnic multicultural radio who might want to apply for that process. So I took it as like, okay, this could be a cool business opportunity. Let's apply. So it's an intense process. When I signed up for that, I didn't realize how intense it was going to be. It's about like a year of prep, and then
It's like the story of my life.
I know,
It
right?
seemed like a good idea at the time.
And then you're just like, wait, what have I just done? Yeah, exactly. So it took like a year to prep that whole application. It's very, very detailed. And then the hearing process was over 5 days. So I was the lead of the panel where I did the presentation. Then there's like interrogation rounds from the CRTC, but also by other applicants who are also applying. So that went on for like 5 days. And then other applicants were like Rogers, Bell, Patterson, like really big media hubs.
Yeah.
And then it was like
Just small players.
I know. And then I'm just like, then there's me with a small local radio. Like, yeah, I want to like start a radio in Edmonton. And
How old were you at the time?
oh God, I would have been like 24. Yeah, like 24-ish.
I'm assuming like on the other side, there was just like a bunch of older
Old
white dudes
people.
in suits.
Yeah, absolutely. So that happened. And it was interesting seeing like a lot of those radios want to get into like ethnic and multicultural radio, which was validating that there's a demand for it in the market now, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, the hearing was like September. Didn't hear anything till the following January, where basically they just put on their website, the CRTC, of like, okay, the license has been issued and we've given it to this radio. And the only person who got the license was me, us, and it was very surreal because I'm like, okay, this is happening. Okay, so we got the license, and that is my first radio station, which is My Radio 580. Still operating. It's the largest ethnic radio in Western Canada. Wow. We do 17 languages on that one, so very
Incredible.
multicultural. So yeah, that one was a really fun project. And then as that one sort of took off, so we went live in like 2020 because it takes years to build out the tower sites and everything. So halfway through the build out process, I moved to London to pursue law school. So I'm like, okay.
Because why not?
Yeah, because I'm like, why not, right? Like, I want to be a lawyer as well. So move across, the radio's being built out, everything's going great. And for me, it was just like very much like, hey, it's like entrepreneur, I'll own it, but I don't want to do anything operationally. So that all went great. It launched. I was able to like manage a lot of it from there. And then we went live September 2020. And then as that was taking off and like I'd say a year into broadcast, I realized there's a huge missed market of where do people like me, the second, third, fourth, fifth generation go? Because a lot of that content is in native languages, whether it's Punjabi, Hindi, or Cantonese Mandarin. My first language is English. It was not Punjabi. I grew up listening to like Tupac and Drake and not like Punjabi artists, right? So it was like, okay, where do we go and where do we tune into radio where we actually relate to the topics? Where like mainstream radio was too westernized, too whitewashed for us. And like this was just on the extreme other end of the spectrum. So that's where I decided to start looking into Turn, the Universal Radio Network. So that one was, it was basically a product of a missed market that was created because of one of my businesses already. So I'm like, it's funny. So that's, 2022.
So you created a second business,
basically. Yeah. So that was 2022, September we launched, and it's been great. It's been a great opportunity. It's, I think, served the community well, and I'm just looking for more ways to just expand and get it out further.
It's incredible. I also just want to acknowledge that like you launched a radio station during COVID while you were also going to law school in another country.
It was a very
just acknowledge
it was a very interesting time. I just remember being up like every night to like 4 or 5 a.m. doing like virtual meetings. Even the funniest story, the first time I interviewed you, Lynette, I was still in London. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know because like I was still there because I think you won Top 40, was it 2020?
Yes.
Yeah. It was 2020. So I interviewed you.
And it was that year that you launched, I guess, that you interviewed me. Yeah, you
exactly.
reached out.
So I was in London. It might have been like
I am not still under 40.
Hey, you look it. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. And I remember it was like maybe 1 or 2 a.m. and I was like virtually interviewing you there. And
oh my God.
And then it was just crazy. A lot of people didn't realize that. They're like, we didn't even realize you lived in London. I was like, yeah, when I launched both businesses, I was in London.
That's amazing. And you know, I know you're in London, but you're also obviously like a local personality. And how important was it that this radio station and this project was owned by a small female business as opposed to one of the big players?
You know, what I think with that is like, I feel like, yes, we're catering to the South Asian community, but we also have a very large local element. And when you're working with broadcasting stations that are national, a lot of them miss out on the local element. So how do you stay connected with all the local organizations, whether it's the local festivals? I think every major festival, we work with them in the summer. Every major sports team in Edmonton, we work with them. So that's where I found that, again, like you don't see the large media corporations that are national being so involved with the community. And I'd say the biggest strength we have had is like the support from the Edmonton community and even the opportunity to give a lot of those people a platform to come share their stories. Like there's not many people in Edmonton that I think can just reach out to a radio station and be like, hey, I want to share my story. Can I be on air? So that's also something that we've like really sort of cultivated that space of, hey, if you're a local person doing something great, if you're a mover and shaker, like come on air, we would love to hear your story. So I think for me, it was really important that it's not just catering to the South Asian community, but also how do we get a radio station that's very Edmonton? So I think it was a big thing. And like being a female in this space is, it's an interesting one.
Bit of a boys club.
Oh, such a boys club, such a boys club. Like even going back to the hearing with CRTC, I was one of the only females, definitely the only colored female. And I remember just looking around and be like, yeah, there's really no females in these spaces. And even till date, like when we look at broadcasting from production to on-air talent, a lot of them are still men.
And most of your team is women, aren't they?
Yeah, like 90% female.
That's amazing.
On both radio stations. Even my Radio 580, we have close to like 40 staff members there, 90% female. On Turn, we have 12 staff members, only 2 male. So it's really interesting, especially when we like show up to these events where people think these are like big deal events, whether it's the Juno Awards or like the Indian Film Academy Awards, and it's like a whole female entourage coming in. And everyone's just like looking at you. And I remember like you get the interesting comments like, oh, are you guys like lost? I'm like, no, this is where we're supposed to be.
Are you lost? No, I'm exactly where I need to be.
Exactly where I need to
fucking
be.
say, are you lost?
Yeah, like, are you lost?
Are
Do
you?
Yeah, it's like, do you need directions? I'm like, I'm exactly where I need to be. So it's funny seeing it because I'm not going to say like, I don't think men feel insecure or intimidated, but I feel like they don't know how to navigate that situation because they also aren't familiar with it. They rarely see like camera crew being all female.
Yeah.
And like at some of these events, like it's intense. Like there's people pushing for content and you have like females and some of my females are short and they're like pushing their way in. There's like 6-foot men around them, right? So I think like for guys too, it's like a little bit of like a new sort of environment. So I think like they don't know how to navigate it either. I don't want to say that they aren't giving us opportunities, but I think it's just unfamiliar still.
Yeah. And you mentioned the Junos. So you were the first South Asian outlet, you said, to be on the red carpet at the Junos.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was really cool. And I have to say, this is where you realize how important it is to have like cheerleaders. There's 2 people in Edmonton I always sort of give a shout out with that opportunity. So basically, September I launched Universal Radio. I interviewed Panita McBrien, who at that time was the CEO of the Edmonton Downtown Business Association. So I interview her and then it goes on socials. And then Faiza Ramji is also from Edmonton.
Oh, I love her.
Oh, she's amazing.
Amazing business owner.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's amazing.
Great communicator too.
Yeah, she's amazing. So I did not know Faiza at that time. She reaches out to Panit seeing the post on her story of like, who interviewed you? Could you connect me to her? And Faiza was doing consulting work with the Junos at that time. So she reaches out and she's like, can you tell me more about your platform? What are you sort of doing here? So like gave her the whole spiel and she's like, oh my God. She's like, well, I'm working with the Junos and they were in March. So we launched September. So within 6 months of launching, we were on the Junos red carpet. And I remember her like talking to me and I'm like, okay. So like, she's like, I'm going to get you access. I think it's so good to have like South Asian representation. It's also the first year there was a South Asian performance at the Junos as well. So it all just like sort of intertwined really well. But I remember the moment we like set up on the red carpet and like me and Prab at that time, she was with me and she was doing all the video content. We're looking around. I'm like, we are the only brown people. B, we're the only team that's all female because everyone's video people production was all like men and we're like females. And a lot of the people doing interviews were also men. And I'm like, this is actually pretty surreal. And then like when it started and like all the celebrities and artists are walking by, I was like, okay, let's take a deep breath in. I'm like, let's just take 5. I'm like, let's just take a moment and then we'll start our interviews. And it was really surreal. But like those 2 cheerleaders, I think about it, I'm like, if they didn't sort of believe in me or give me the opportunity, I don't know how many years it could have potentially taken to get there.
And even though you made it to the red carpet, you did tell us a story where, you know, some people tried to maybe edge you out a little bit. So you made it there.
Yeah. So the Junos
And then
was
staying
great.
there was the hardest part.
I mean, the Junos is great. I can't complain about the Junos. They're very well organized. So the other major event we do every year is the IFA Awards, which are the Indian International Film. So it's a equivalency of like India's Oscars, basically. So everyone from Bollywood's there is a big thing. So we have been the only Canadian outlet there for the last 3 years. Wow. So that's been really cool too. But I remember, so last year was Abu Dhabi in the Middle East. So we're there. We're following the guidelines. They're like, everyone has to be here at this time. And we get there and we have like an allocated spot. Then all of a sudden, this like team of like 6 men come and they're like taking up so much space and they take over our space. And we get there and they're like all set up and I'm like, hey, this is our space. And they're like, no, it's not. And they're like, who are you even? I'm like, I'm here from Canada. They're like, we've never heard of like this outlet. And they're like giving me all this attitude. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like looking at Prab. And
For those who might not have been able to hear that, she said, what the fuck?
And me and Prob are like sitting there, and like I'm like, okay, what do we do? It's also plus 48. Okay, we're dying in the heat. We're carrying the camera equipment.
My
We're like,
God.
all these men are carrying it, and it's like me and Prob like
and you're
calling-
like in black tie.
yeah,
a
exactly. And
dress,
we're like
I'm assuming.
completely
Yeah.
dressed up. I'm like, okay. I'm like, Prob's like, okay. She's like, this is pretty hectic. Like, should we just leave? I'm like, we're not leaving. I'm like, I did not come all the way here to leave because it was like overwhelming.
We are
Yeah.
literally taking up space and figuratively taking
Yeah.
up space. Yeah.
So then
exactly.
I go to the guy next to me. I'm like, hey, this is my space. And I'm like trying to be very respectful. He's like, oh, we don't even know where you're from, blah, blah, blah. Canada. No one cares about Canada and all this shit, right? I'm like, oh my God.
gloves are
We're
off.
nice until we're not.
Yeah. And then he literally looks at Prob, and like Prob is like, I don't know, maybe like 5'5", 5'6". He's like, oh, she's so small. You guys can just go in a corner somewhere. You guys, and I'm like, what? I'm like,
Nobody
are not
puts
moving.
baby in a corner.
Yeah, I'm like, we are not moving from here. And it was like a standoff. When I say it was a standoff, I'm like, Prob, you're not moving. I'm not moving. And we're not moving till this guy budge. It went
Right.
on for like an hour. Like literally an hour. This guy wouldn't move, and I'm like, I'm not moving. And I'm like literally in a place where like his video guy cannot get any video content because I'm blocking it. I'm like, this is my space. I'm not moving, and rightfully so. So it went on for like an hour. And then like other people started coming to him like, hey, like give the girls their space. That's their space.
Nice.
And then like after an hour, he just gave up, and he's like, you know what? Take your space. And he like started swearing, and he was so rude about it. And he's like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, like you guys, and he even said at one point, he's like, yeah, you guys should like have some men on your team so they can like, and I'm like, what? And I was like, okay, this is
So
actually
they can-
insane.
they can
But then I
brawl?
remember
I don't
looking
know.
around the room, I'm like, we're like the only females in this room, and there's like 100 men. So I'm like, yeah, the testosterone in that room.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was very weird because I thought about it. I'm like, if I did have a man, like a 6 foot like videographer, would this guy have budged like right away?
Who knows?
You don't know, right?
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, he kept looking at Prob. He's like, oh, you guys are just gonna barely take any room. Just go over there. And I'm like, okay.
The dismissiveness is like
Yeah.
what gets me in all of this. And, you know, this was like a physical standoff, but sometimes we
was,
have,
yeah.
you know, like verbal or other
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
someone is not allowing you to have your space or take your space. And I think a lot of us probably react like Prob did, where it's like,
Yeah.
you know what, I'll just give up, whatever. I don't need to fight this fight. But I love that you didn't back down. You didn't get confrontational, but it's like, no,
Yeah.
I deserve to be here. I belong here. I earned this. I came here. I'm not leaving.
Exactly.
And there's so much power in that.
yeah.
I
'cause
love
it-
that. Also,
oh,
just to add to that, like in heels, in a gala dress in 48-degree weather.
it was insane. It was insane.
You're my fucking hero.
Oh my God. Thank you. It was crazy. And also like a lot of the media there was like from across the world.
Right.
And then there was so much media from India, and the India media is like really pushy. And we're like, you know, like the Canadians trying to be professional. And then you have like people pushing you around, and you're just like, yeah, I'm not taking this. So yeah, I always say to people like, hey, if you've earned something, you just have to stand up for it. There are times where people are going to try to take it away from you. They're going to try to make it seem like they're going to downplay your successes. If you, in your heart, know that, hey, this is something I've earned, just stand up for it.
Well, and Sapreet, that's part of being a trailblazer. Like there is a lot of pain in that, and I think when I hear your stories, it's like from 12 years old you've been a trailblazer,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, the first one in is the one that takes a lot of the brunt, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Edmonton's been a good market to be in, but it is a boys' club. I'm not going to deny that. Edmonton, a lot of the events are sports events. It's a sports city.
Yeah.
So even in that, like I've been fortunate to work with, I'd say like all the major teams. So I've done work with the Stingers, the Riverhawks, the Oilers, the Elks. And overall, it's been great. But there has been incidents where like, not the organization itself, but like some of the community people that are part of the events. First of all, they're all guys. So I like walk into a room and it's like all these community people that I know that I've grown up with that are like all guys. And I'm like walking in and they're like, oh, but do you even know about the sport? And I'm like, what? I'm like,
Because girls don't know about sports.
I'm like background. I have an older brother, but I grew up in Edmonton. Now I'm brown, so like our families are insane. I have like 21 first cousins, and I'm the youngest and the only female. So I have grown up around sports my whole life, and I just like look at them and I'm like, hey, I'm like, ask me anything.
Yeah.
And then they just don't say anything. They just get so quiet. I'm like, regardless of the sport, I'm like, we're here to do content and interviews.
Yes.
So I'm like,
You're
I'm not
there to
doing
play the
commentary.
sport.
And I'm not doing play-by-play commentary, and nor are any of you. So I'm
You're
like,
all spectators.
Exactly, right? I'm like, so even
Calm
if
down.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, even if I don't know the rules, we will be fine. And yeah, just those comments are like, oh, do you even know? Or like, who's the captain? And I'm like, what?
Oh my God.
It's just, yeah. And then the day of as well, they'll like show up and they'll be like trying to like almost like boss you around. And I'm like, guys, like, we have our space. So the one thing I learned after like the first time that happened, and I remember like I was really flustered after one of the events because of like all these people from the community that were like, yeah, okay, like trying to push me out of that space. That I'm like, I remember sitting, it was like late at night, I'm sitting at home and I'm like, Churn has so much to offer that I actually don't need to go through these guys. So I literally emailed the organization directly. I'm like, this is me. This is what I offer. I like to be part of this event in this aspect. Like, this is what I think I bring to the table. And I would like to work with you on this. And they replied right away, like the next day. And they're like, we would love to have you. Basically everything I asked for, they're like, let's do it. I had no communication with the people that I was frustrated with. And I just dealt straight, and that pissed off the community people. Like when it was like the organization coming to me and being like checking in, setting us up, giving me passes, full access, and they're like, what is going on? Because even they didn't have access like we did.
Gatekeepers hate that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But I love that. So, you know, there's probably so many of us that come up against that, right? That's,
Exactly.
whether it's like anywhere from skepticism to full out blocking access and participation. And so if somebody's blocking you, don't fight them on it, because they're not going to give in.
Yeah.
Go around them, go above them.
Build your own relationship.
Yeah.
Build your own space,
relationships.
build your own
Yeah.
relationships.
Absolutely. And that comes back to like, hey, like if you know you're a badass, just like, you know what you have, you know what your business is. If you bring something to the table, just reach out. You don't need to be scared to reach out. What's the worst that can happen? Someone wouldn't reply to your email. At least you tried.
Yeah.
That's good
And just
advice.
because someone else doesn't see what you have to offer doesn't mean that it's not great.
Exactly.
Right? It just means that they're not your people.
Yeah, that's not who you need.
No.
Yeah.
And so kind of along that same vein, I know you've experienced this before. I certainly have, where, you know, you come forward with an idea because we've got big goals.
Yep, totally. Sometimes
And-
it's like, yeah, are we delusional? I don't know.
I know. I mean, I do get that from people a lot, even from Sherry. But you know what? The second thing she always does is say, fuck, let's do it.
Yeah, why not?
But there are a lot of people who don't do that, right? Who doubt you, who are like, that's not going to work. You can't do that. And then I find, and which I think you have as well, is like, we don't really take no for an answer. If I
Yeah.
believe in a thing, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it without you. And then when it works and when it's great, they're like, hey, that
I'm
was
your
my
new best
idea.
friend.
Yeah. Or how can I get in on that? And I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm just not even going to finish that sentence, but I thought, but what is your reaction to that?
Oh, there's a couple of different aspects. So like, yes, the work I'm in, I get to meet some cool people. Like I get to meet artists, I get to meet celebrities. And then when they're in Edmonton, because they know me from like other places, like the wards, it's usually like if they're in Edmonton, they're hanging out with me. So one of the aspect is like people who don't even follow my business pages, don't even follow me. I'll start getting DMs of like, can you give me a picture with that person? He's in town. And I'm like, what? Like, you have never even like spoken to me in like years. You don't even follow my business. And now you want to like be part of
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, so-and-so's in town. Or just one picture, or like, can I get an autograph, or just like a quick coffee with that person? So I have this rule now that whenever someone's in town, I just don't look at my DMs. Because there was this one time and I was like, what is going on? I woke up to over 100 DMs. I'm not exaggerating. And it was like crazy. And I remember like, so Jonah, I think you've met Jonah. She works with me. I gave her my phone. I'm like, unless it's something urgent, don't tell me. I'm like, I don't want to know unless it's like something urgent. I'm like, I don't want to know what's coming on whether it's the radio page or my page. Because I'm like, this is actually ridiculous how like everyone just wants to be part of it now, right? Because I guess we'll talk about this later, is like, because yeah, it's just like how people think like these opportunities just came to me. And I'm like, no, I worked really hard to get into these spaces, right? And I'm like, yeah, anyone who has been part of my success or been part of my cheerleader, I will do anything to like make, like anything I can do, I'll try to make like, yeah, if it's someone Like if Lynette, you're like, this is my favorite singer one. I'm like, I adore you. You've been with me like from the first day of my success. Like, absolutely, I'm gonna do what I can.
I would just never ask though.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
the thing. But it's like if you're like someone I haven't seen in 20 years, I haven't heard from you. And like in high school, you used to like bully me. Like, I remember shit. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not happening, right? So yeah, it's really funny when you see that. And then the second part too.
Balls on some people. Really?
I know, it's really funny. I'm like, the audacity, seriously. The second one, the other, I guess, part of this is like, there's like, so K-Days. I'll talk about K-Days basically. That's the first one that comes to mind. So last year, we brought the first South Asian performance to K-Days, which was really cool. So their 10-day concert series, they never had a South Asian performance. I pitched to K-Days that went over a few months of like, hey, I think this is a great idea. Canadian South Asian music is just popping up. These are some great artists. The market in Edmonton, there's a demand. Let's just do this. So it went back and forth for a bit, but they were very excited to like go on board with this. And then, we did the first event. And I remember prior to that, so there's a major South Asian music festival that happens in Vancouver every year and then one in Calgary. So I didn't go to the Vancouver one this year, but I was in Calgary. So when I was at Calgary, everyone from Vancouver was there. Everyone from Toronto was there. Even from the record labels, they were all there. And they all went to Vancouver as well. And then the Calgary one was like 2 or 3 events before K-Days. So I'm like, hey, like, you guys should come to Edmonton. And they all just like brushed it off. Like, okay, like Edmonton. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, what is this event even? And they're like, like, does Edmonton even have like a South Asian population? And I'm like, wow, you guys are really just downplaying Edmonton right now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, all good. And then K-Days comes around. 5,400 people on a Tuesday night.
Wow.
For the first ever South Asian performance, which
5,400
is 5,400 people. That's insane. It's crazy.
Take that, Vancouver.
Exactly.
Good for you.
And from what I've been told was that we outdid at Vancouver and Calgary.
Yeah, we
and
did.
the other thing is we didn't give out any free tickets. Everyone paid to be there. That's also the thing in South Asian culture. A lot of people just like, just come fill out the space. So those were like really big wins. And the artists all were like talking about on their socials of like what a great experience Edmonton was. Mm-hmm. So that was really cool to see because a lot of times where I have pitched artists to come to Edmonton, it's just a straight no of like, Edmonton doesn't have a market. Yeah. We only do Calgary or like Vancouver or Montreal. And I'm like, okay, fine. So now since that, the amount of artists that I've already reached out to be considered for 2026, the ones that I was reaching out to and they weren't even replying last year, now they're all like, hey, like, can I be part of the lineup next year? And then secondly, a lot of these people that went to the Calgary, Vancouver shows are like, oh yeah, like, sorry, I couldn't make it. I had this and this at a wedding, but next year I'm definitely going to be there. And I'm like, that's nice. And then a couple of them like, hey, like, we're going to come next year. Like, can you get us access and stuff? And then again, I'm also like, hey, like, I'm nice, but like, I don't let people walk over me. And I'm like, like, here's a link. Here's a contact at K-Days. You can apply for a VIP access, but I'm not handing them out to you. Because like when I asked you to be here the first year, you didn't want to be here. You didn't believe in it. And now you saw it. And now you're just like, I want to come and have all the perks too. I'm like, So like, this is a process. You can put your application in. And if they think it's worthwhile, they'll let you know. But I'm not handing those out anymore.
Nice.
Yeah. That is
I
definitely...
earned it. You can earn it too.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just want to also like... reinforce and kind of something that you just said in that first story around all the DMs and everything and giving your phone to someone else and being like, I'm not going to look at it. It's a thing that I realized, I mean, maybe just in the last year, and somebody actually had to almost give me permission to say like, you don't owe people a response, especially if they're not your people. Mm-hmm. If they're not people who are there to bring value, to support you, who care about your well-being, who have given you anything, you do not owe them a response. You do not owe them anything. And even some of these people, your doubters, your haters, your hangers-on, you don't owe them anything.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, I'd say like a few years ago, like if anyone messaged me, I would respond. Mm-hmm. Because that's just who I am, really. That's who I am. But like over the last few years, I think I've really realized that there's some people like the second their name pops up on my screen, within seconds, I will reply to them. There's like those people that are in my circle that have always been there for me. But then there's some people where I've really been able to recognize of like, when are they just reaching out to like sort of be part of opportunities and stuff. So I've learned to filter it, and now I have like a different response system for like different tiers of people, and it's all like in my head where I'm like, yeah, okay, like this person is in this bubble and this person's in this tier, and I'm just like, yeah, like unless you're like that person that's gonna be there regardless. And it's like any relationship is two ways. I'll be there for them, they'll be there for me. But there's a good handful in Edmonton where I'm like, yeah, okay, you're only going to reach out when you need something.
Well, and that reinforces the fact that it is all about relationships, and business is more
Absolutely.
about that. I know some folks are very focused on sales and just getting that sale and making that sale and making that connection for like a thing. And for me, for example, I just think that you can build those relationships and client relationships for life. And I just love the idea of doing that. And that's very much a values match. That's not always they pay this or whatever it might be. So yeah, I love the idea of having the tiers because, you know, you have to know where you stand and
Absolutely.
also like what relationships are key.
No, I absolutely agree, Sherry. Like there are relationships in business. And again, like there's different types of entrepreneurs, different types of business. Some do just look at like, yeah, what monetary value did this bring? But relationship building is definitely something you build out over years. All of them have different values and you can't just put a value on it with a price tag. There are some relationships that come out like some of the value isn't just $1. It's like, what does this opportunity give me? Or what does this relationship give me? And that's part of like being an entrepreneur of like, how do you maintain those relationships, but also understand which ones are worth maintaining at the same time as well.
Yeah. And I think that's the other thing that we often feel like we need permission for, but that we get to choose.
Yeah.
And we get to choose based on our own values and what's good for us, that we don't automatically owe people a response. We don't automatically owe someone our time and our energy. And we get to say no to clients, to stakeholders, to anyone who doesn't fit into those tiers, right? Those values-based tiers. I love that. And like, I have a pretty, not binary, but just like maybe one bubble. I'm going to think now about like expanding out to different bubbles, but it's very
it's
like,
really fun when you get to
don't
say
fit.
no to a man who thinks he has a lot of authority. Those are always fun because just a reaction, like they're just flabbergasted for a second. Like, what?
No to me.
What is this?
You said no to me? And I'm just like, yeah. And then I'll like things of like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go talk to so-and-so. I'm like, you do that.
Yep. I wish you
go
well.
do that. I wish you well. You go do that. Let me know how it goes.
Fill your boots,
Yeah.
as they say where I'm from. And I think, you know, what you just described as well with that reaction, we often take on the flip side of that we owe people things, right? And it's because we're always, I think, having to fight our way into spaces, stand our way into spaces,
Right.
that it's almost like we are always asking for permission to be somewhere. And so that is a really helpful reminder that you don't need someone else to give you permission. You are all you need. And the other thing too, along the way that you said helped you was that like, you knew you had something to bring to the table. You knew you were a badass. And I think that is like the key of really finding that inner strength and self-confidence that allows us and like empowers us to be able to say like, no, I'm good. I'm good here. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Absolutely. I mean, regardless what sector you're in, if you're an entrepreneur, you've built something. You have something under your belt, and you should absolutely take that as confidence. Like at least for my businesses, it was not a smooth journey. There's going to be failures. There's going to be pivoting. There's going to be re-strategizing throughout the way. But that doesn't mean that you haven't brought something to the table. And I was like, even like other female entrepreneurs, I'm like, you, to some extent, you have to be a little jaded.
Yeah.
Like a little bit, right? Because like, if you aren't, like, there's no one else who's going to believe in it as much as you do. And then when it comes to like opportunities, when you walk in with a confidence of like, I have something, I own it, I know how to do this, and I know what I bring, it just puts you in a different mind space is what I find.
Yep.
And then you don't get pushed around. You know, you can stand your ground. And I think that's a very like reassuring thing as like a business owner or an entrepreneur or whatever sector you're in of like, hey, I own this. And I know what I'm bringing here, the value I'm bringing. Those are big things, I think, to carry with you.
So you've learned a lot along the way.
Oh, gosh, so much.
By doing and changing. And it sounds, though, like for the most part, you've really not necessarily like taken other people's advice. It's really like you've let your own kind of gut and heart lead the way. has there been a myth that is like a favorite of yours, an entrepreneurship myth? It could be something someone told you that you were like, that's bullshit, or something that you found out yourself that you kind of had this preconceived notion.
There's me too. One of them is gonna be when I was like younger, like I would hear people be like, oh my God, it's so cool, you're a business owner. You can just hire people to do the work you don't want to do. So false. You are going to be doing a lot of work you don't want to do.
Yep.
Actually, now that I think about it, Lynette, I feel like one time you saw me at the Station Park studio. And I was there with a bucket of water and cloths, and I was cleaning the windows.
I commented on it too. I was like,
and I was like, she
does literally everything.
Yeah, I'm like, you literally have to do everything. So as an entrepreneur, it's not like, oh, you just get to sit there and boss people around. Absolutely not. You need to know your business in and out. Just think of it. If one of your lead talent leaves tomorrow, what are you going to do? You're the one accountable for that business. So you need to know how to do everything, whether you like to do it or not. And secondly, there's going to be times where you are mopping the floors, you're vacuuming, you're
cleaning windows,
you're carrying equipment. The times
I should have offered to help you.
Oh my God.
I was like, hey, you're cleaning windows.
Your company was enough. Your company
you got your own messes to mop up, Lynette.
So I
do have my own messes to mop up.
Absolutely. So I think, like you are going to do stuff you don't enjoy. Being an entrepreneur is not something flashy. It's not like glitter and unicorns. You're going to be doing a lot of work you don't.
Says the girl who was on the Juno red carpet.
I was on the Juno's red carpet carrying about like 15 pounds of equipment in my heels. So I'm like there with like everything. So I'm like, you guys. And that's the thing about social media. You only get to see the cool stuff, right?
It's the highlight reel.
Just the highlight reel. Absolutely. You don't get to see like everything of like how exhausted we are. We've been on our feet for like so many hours.
True.
You can't even go for the bathroom. Once you're on the red carpet, you're on the red carpet. You can't leave. You're carrying equipment. There's technical errors. There's this, there's that. There's celebrities you're hoping stop and they don't stop, and that disappointment. Like there's so much to it, but you don't see that. So if you're the biggest myth for me was like, once you're an entrepreneur, you only do the work you want to do. Absolutely not. There's times where I'm like sitting there like doing work that like data work, like just filling in spreadsheets, emailing
100%.
people.
My
like
most hated thing.
I know, I hate the spreadsheets. And then, even more so, like, it's your baby. If your baby needs to be clean, you're going to be cleaning it. You'll be there. Like, I don't think I've ever had a staff member stay there late at night, but there's been nights I'm there, like, till 3 a.m. There's an important interview tomorrow. Great. What do we have to do? We have to revamp the studio. We have to do this. We have to prep for the interview. Great. Who's going to do that? You're going to do that. So I
you
think
have to care more than everyone else.
Exactly. So I think the biggest myth for me was, like, once you're an entrepreneur, you just sort of like sit there and like, just delegate. That doesn't happen.
Gotta be some
That's
passion.
called being a boss, not an entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that was one of the myths. And the second would be that, I guess this myth is like more so like the perception of being in media is like a lot of people just think that things come very easily, like whether it's like interviews and stuff, where it doesn't. I actually, like, I'm not even like exaggerating, where like I have a spreadsheet of everyone we've ever emailed to interview them. And like we have a rejection column, how many people even replied, how many people said straight up no. And we are like well over 500 on that spreadsheet of how many emails. And some artists I've emailed like 15 times of like, hey, last time we spoke, like this is what we're at. These are our new stats. This is our new analytics. Like, do you think we can get this interview? And it is a lot of dedication. Like every night before I go to sleep, and this has been happening for 3 years, the last hour before I sleep is just emailing people. And it's, so it's not like, oh yeah, she's in media, so she just gets those interviews. You have to work for them.
She just shows up and talks. And
That's what they think. Well, like, she got to meet that person. She got a photo with them. It's because she's in media. No, there's a lot of media outlets that don't get to do that. But it is a lot of dedication. So I think that was the other myth as well of like, once you're an entrepreneur, that like opportunities just come to you. No, you're still working for them constantly. For them.
Appreciate that, and appreciate your myths, because there are so many, and
there's so many.
Everyone experiences different myths and experiences things differently. Where can we find you on social media, Sapreet?
To DM you for
yes. I will reply.
Just curious, asking for a friend.
No, I will definitely reply. Just ignore what I said earlier.
You don't know anything, girl.
Yeah, exactly. So my personal Instagram is my first name Sapreet and last name initial B, so Sapreet B. And if you want to follow the radio, it's at the Universal Radio.
Amazing.
And if you're in Edmonton, they have a great station. Turn has their station down at Station Park at White Ave and Gateway, the corner.
Yeah.
Stop by one time and
Yeah, it's awesome. You can
help her
see
clean
us,
some windows.
I know,
Very
right?
clean windows. in there.
You can see us broadcast. The window is, yes, massive. It's huge. You
yeah.
can't miss it. And then the speakers are always on. So yeah, when we're broadcasting in the evenings, we are from there. You can see us. You can watch us. You can hear us.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, especially in the summers.
Yep.
It's a great time this summer there.
Yeah,
I would
I'm
say.
looking forward to this summer.
Yeah, a lot of events, a lot of DJ sets. So yeah, come say hi. We always love seeing you guys.
Thanks so much,
Amazing.
Sapreet.
Yeah. No, thank you. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we will look forward to seeing you outside of Turn's radio station this summer. Thanks everyone for tuning in. As always, we love our listeners. We love feedback. And if we don't respond to you, it means you're not our people. Just kidding. We will respond to everyone. We love feedback, ideas, and guest suggestions, all kinds of things. So engage with us online at Stay Spicy Inc. And in the meantime,
Stay spicy. Have a good one. Thanks for listening to the Stay Spicy podcast.
we love hearing from our listeners and want you to be part of our community. So connect with us on social media at Stay Spicy Inc.
And visit us online at stayspicy.ca.